And I'm back. Okay, so now I also have to figure out what I want to do next. Oh man, getting more viewers. Let's see, how is that doing? On the well, I don't want to leave this page because I'm afraid I'll like not be able to be in chat anymore. Okay. Okay, I think I actually did this tile brushes task a lot faster than I would have if I weren't streaming it. Um, I had been meaning to get around to it for months, and I started it about a week ago. I have all my streams saved, and I started it in my first stream, and each one of the last two is about an hour long. I'm doing this one about 3.5 hours, so it's less than 6 hours to get the tile brushes done, which is nice. And existing stage properties. Ooh, this looks like it'll be fun. That's a whole new window. That's incorporating the NSF player. I got stuff I want to do there. Want you to be able to play the tracks in the editor in order to select them. And I'm not sure if I want you to be able to name the tracks in the NSF file so that when you select the stage you can just select the track by name. You'll just have the player and you just select the track by index. Anyway, that'll be pretty cool. If I start this today, it will certainly not get finished tonight, because it is 10:40 p.m. here. Although I don't really have a bedtime at my age, so I could be up here all night. So it really just matters how long I can stay awake and focused on one project. Excellent. Woohoo. That's good to know. Probably not too bad for stream number 3. I'm sure if I had never fixed my audio problems, I would still be in dead last, because it would just be constant microphone noise and then blowing people's ears off every time I start the engine. Okay. This task means that I need to be able to have a button here that says stage properties. You click it, and something similar to this window opens. This is the project version, and I'll just be making some of these for the stage, but instead of these, it'll have select what music track it is. I don't know about start point and continue point. I think the term stage properties in the title doesn't specifically refer to that window, that dialogue for filling those in. I think this is just a random assortment of stuff that needs to be specified. Because I think the start point and continue point should be specified in the in here, maybe with a special tool. That's how it was in the WinForms version of the editor. You'd click a little Mega Man and click somewhere as to where the start point should be, and then there's a different version for continue points, and you would just go to a different screen and, like, I don't know, you'd go over here and click on that, and there'd be a continue point set. But for now, I think it would be fun to get a stage properties thing in there. So let's go. In the, I think it's the main window. Yeah, main window. This project is using Avalon Dock to replicate the panels and such that you see in Visual Studio. Connect the view models to the models. Okay, observable collections in the view models, not in the models. I haven't seen any code propagating the changes down to the model from the view model. So do you mean when I add, like if in the view model I say add something to the, add a new brush to the tile set, the code I just put in there probably wasn't the best. I mean, I control the model itself. I could have made it an observable collection, but for some reason I just didn't feel like doing that because that is an awesome idea. I thought about using observable collections directly in the model, but I felt like even though it's part of the editor, it felt wrong because it felt like the models shouldn't have to make that concession and turn all of their collections into observable ones, though I can see the reason to do that. So what I ended up doing is having an observable collection that was kind of tied to the original one, although I don't know, the way when I describe it, it sounds really idiotic, but that's what I did. Yeah, it was like this, which is really dumb. So maybe I will change that someday. Because I mean, what if my model had been something that was out of my control? You can't turn a regular collection into an observable one on their side. Like, if I don't have control of adding things, then there's no way to observe that. If my view model is looking at a model that's out of my control and somebody else adds something to that model's collection, I can't possibly be aware of it. So I tried looking around for ways around that problem, and that's just the thing you can't do. But since I do control these models, I could make that change. If that's not what your question meant, then I don't know, you might need to clarify. Okay, anyway, in the main window, I need to find the part of the ribbon that is like these buttons and stuff. Tabs. So the Home tab, Stage tab. Okay, I believe this can go in its own group box. Nah, I'll go right here. Add new button. Okay, I was pretty terrible at WPF when I started this project, this editor. I had only used it like once at work in 2010. So these bindings on the other buttons that are going straight to the window element, I'm not sure if that's just an artifact of my inexperience at the time or if there was some technical reason I had to do that. So I should probably figure that out before I add this button. Edit stage command in here. Oh, come on. What was that actually doing? Relay command, edit stage. it switches the editor pane selected. Okay, so I think it does have to go there because it's not about the model. It is directly about the behavior of the view. So it does belong in the views code behind. It's basically toggling the visibility of a particular pane in the main window. Main window 1, love those default names. Alright, CMF Joe. Is he still in the here? What? Nope. Okay, so go away. Okay. So now the button should appear. I don't know, do I need to put I'll put the auto icon in there as well. Why not? There. Now in this code behind. So it's not even 200 lines. This file used to be much worse. It had way too much stuff in it that did not belong here until I moved it into the main window view model. So that was back before I really knew how to do MVVM properly at all. And at least in my experience, it seems like when you don't understand a certain paradigm, it's not that you're, you know, looking up to it or looking forward to it and trying to figure it out. It's somehow it's a terrible idea and stupid, and everyone who pushes it is an idiot just because you don't know how to do it right yet. Or like you take your first stab at it and you do everything wrong. You're like, well, this isn't working, so obviously it's the MVVM pattern, and that's crap, not my coding with it. You know, once I've gotten a little more experience with it, it definitely falls into place and comes pretty naturally. Though I can't really say that I'm doing it 100% correct yet, but it's a lot better than where it was 2 years ago. Cat wants up in my lap. I'm gonna let her. Okay, now I've got a cat. Okay, productivity goes down 50% when there's a cat in the lap. Yak. Sit down. I need to put the... She's fighting with me for control of the keyboard. Okay, I need to put the pane that I'm going to show in here before I can do any more in the code behind file. What was the other one called for reference? Project settings pane, and there's a settings control in it. That's kind of weird. This data context setting thing is something I probably can change at this point. I can use my view model mediator so that it has a single project settings view model constantly, and it's not getting changed when the wait, is that per yeah, so that it's always got the same view model, and that it just responds to events when a project is opened and then just updates itself, rather than this file giving it a new view model every time. I'm probably not going to remember that after 10 minutes from now, so it's probably not going to get changed for months. I think XAML itself is okay. I mean, the bindings, it's pretty much what I would have done if I had been designing it, because if you look at the way the Mega Man engine works and the way it declares entities and stuff, it's kind of like that, except mine is much worse. So I'm not really one to judge the way XAML works, but after all this time since it's been released, like, it hasn't become any more concise. Like, I've seen articles like comparing it to ASP.NET and how it got such a syntactic overhaul with Razor, so that everything is just so much nicer and cleaner, compact, and WPF has gotten no such upgrades. You still have all of these huge using these include statements, or whatever they're called, all of these namespaces that you have to put in here. You can't even like auto-resolve them or anything, and the verbosity of like even declaring like a command binding is ridiculous. I mean, once you understand it, it works rather well, and its flexibility is basically unparalleled in the desktop world, in the Microsoft world at least. Okay, I've booted the cat. Anyway, come on, no! Down. I am looking for my... Where is it? Project settings pane. There it is. Add stage pane. Editor pane. Okay, I'll just add a new one here. I hope I'm doing this right. Okay, there's nothing in there right now. It should work once The XAML compiles. Yeah, okay. No, wait. Maybe. Okay, I have a free pane now, and I can slap some controls on here and make that my stage properties doohickey thing. Oh yes, I would love to use ReSharper. I've had ReSharper before for a short while, and when I had it through, is it through work maybe? I applied it as much as I could to this project, took advantage of the time I had, and was like, clean everything, give me all of the refactorings, and it was awesome. But I really don't feel like buying ReSharper now. Oh, and yeah, I haven't actually tried Blend. I've ever since I started like doing web design too, I've always been the type to I'll just type it, because at least I know what's gonna end up in the file. Like, I'm afraid with tools like Blend that, I made it look right, but then if I ever go look at the XAML, it's gonna be a nightmare that you just can't. Once it's made in Blend, that it's like you can't edit it except for in Blend again, because it's not going to even care whether it's human readable. But that may not be the case. That fear may be completely unfounded, since I haven't tried it. Ooh. Yep. Yeah, I remember I was maybe 8 or 10 years old or something, and so web pages were new. This was in like almost pre-GeoCities days, and my oldest brother wrote some web pages, and he just did everything in Notepad. And I had just started any form of computer programming by then, like maybe not even yet. But I understood what it was, and I'd seen, the Netscape, whatever was it called, Dreamweaver, and those other programs. And when he told me he just wrote his pages in Notepad, I was like, is that even possible? Like, the concept didn't make sense to me. And then when I saw what he was doing, and then compared that to the bloat that was spit out by the tools, I never used those tools again. I have thoroughly distracted myself. I need to make a new control for... I need to really organize this. I am really bad about folder organization. The folders I have in here, like controls, view models, these DLL folders, this is about the best I have ever done in terms of folder organization. Like, check out my common. Oh yeah, and then this was added pretty recently with all of these folders in there. The engine has some folders. I had a whole month of refactoring where I was just moving stuff around like that. In the first 2 or 3 years of this project, everything was just files in the same top level folder. It was awful. But for now, I'll just add another one right here. Add stage of project. I'm going to leave that. It doesn't... Whatever data context it needs for its view model, I'll do it the proper way in there. I don't need these tile set things anymore. Okay. Yes, I'm aware that comparing Blend to Dreamweaver is it's like apples and I don't know rocks. And it's just not even a contest, but it's the principle of the thing, not the product. I mean, they even say, I mean, I'm a developer, I'm not a designer, and they say Blend is for designers, so they don't have to look at code. Well, I'm going to type so I don't have to look at programs like Blend. For now, anyway. What do I want in here? What I want to do is rip off my own code from the project settings control. We got a dock panel, we got a grid. What else is in this dock panel? Nothing. So there's a dock panel with a grid in it. Tell me what that's about? I don't know. Maybe because the grid has a max width? Okay, I'll just steal the whole thing and we'll see what happens. Okay. Can get rid of some of these. Yeah, and these styles, I gotta move these out into another style sheet or whatever it is, but I'm not good enough with styling to really know, like, the resource bindings thing. When the binding has, like, 5 sets of braces in it, then I'm not gonna do it. And that's what I meant with verbosity. There's, like, resource, static dictionary, some kind of garbage in some other file, and whatever. I'll learn about that another time. Author does not need to apply. Music, start point. Did I even need this grid? Because the music is a totally separate control, I guess. Music, text box I don't need. Would be a different thing in there. Start point, no. It's just those. How many? Way too many rows. That's not quite what I meant. There. And the music row 1. Okay. So inside here, what I think I'm going to do for the music is put in a NSF player, essentially, and I have to decide whether I want to put it inline or make it I'll just make it inline now. If I ever find another place in the editor that I need that, then I'll just rip it out of this control into a separate one. But for now, let's make another dock panel inside there. And this will contain the NSF player. Let's see. Gonna need some buttons. Let's see. Play, pause, back, forward, maybe a drop down for the track or just a text box. Let's do that. So it's a stack panel, it's horizontal and docked on top. Let's actually make 2 of them. And the second will be the buttons, and the first will contain a text box. Not so that'll hold the track number. Wait, yeah. You don't need to say path equals. Right. And also a... oh, what else was going to go here? Should just be one line of things. The box, play, pause, stop, back, forward, or something. I had thought something else would go on the same line as the text box, but I can't think of it now. Yeah. You obviously can't use a caret, so what is that? An ampersand thing? Would you have to use those, like, the HTML codes? For, like, back? You know what, I'll just say previous instead of the whatever character. There's the double left bracket thing, left angle bracket thing, that means previous. I don't know what the character code is. Previous, play, pause. Stop. I feel like this is overkill. Like, do you really need a pause button in your picking a song for the stage? Like, you need to hear, like, what, 1 second of it to know if you've picked the right one. And you presumably know what they all sound like already. Those are horrifyingly ugly, but that's okay for the moment. I'm going to put them all on the same line, because I can't think of a reason not to. Ooh, I have I have a library installed that comes with a numeric up-down control. I absolutely should use that in this case. I don't know if it's called that. It is not. Why are you searching the current window? What the heck is numeric? Where is it used? Is it over here? No. It's definitely in the tile editor, so let's grab it out of there. This thing that's a sprite editor control. Grab it out of there. That thing. You're the XCTK integer up down. Actually, it's probably more prudent to copy your include. Instead of a text block here, u equals track. Now min value minimum 0, maximum finding max track. And is there an increment? 1. Okay. Okay, so then previous and next buttons become irrelevant because they're built into the control. Why is it not... Oh, the text box has margin and my stack panel does not. Fine, do I have to do this?